Alright, let's do this. I love letting those samples on the analog rhythm run through the end because it always turns into something so like crazy that wasn't even how the song was supposed to be, but it was just like the sample kept going and it always just ends up being something cool. The SP-404. How are you guys? Welcome to episode 14 of Dawless Jamming. Yesterday I did a stream that was like in the jungle where there was no signal. It didn't turn out that great. That was supposed to be episode 14, but I decided after some thoughts to keep the Dawless Jamming live stream like episodes more overhead shot, nice audio, nice, streaming setup. So scratch episode 14 yesterday, episode 14 today. The SP-404G, I have been thinking about getting one of these for quite some time. I have the SP-404SX. You might have thought it was the OG because, well, I guess not if you know like the differences. Mine's covered in stickers. I probably won't put any stickers on this one just because it's kind of like a classic piece, but don't quote me on that. I got it on eBay. The pads are really yellow, as you can see, like in comparison to the analog rhythm pads. This is brand new, of course. Yeah, they're pretty yellow. It was probably someone that jammed with it outside or maybe smoked. Who knows? Oh well. It's a little bent over here. But it works, right? Okay, so the difference between this one and the other one is that the new one has an SD card. This one uses the bigger card. And I actually don't even have a card right now in it. So I have to get one of those cards. That's the reason I am doing this video together first. And then later on, I'll do the proper vinyl comparison with the original. Well, not the original, with the new SP-404SX. I wonder if the vinyl on the A is any different. If you guys have the A, let me know. If you have both, if you can tell the difference. But yeah, so the other one, the vinyl sim, they changed that to DJ effects. So like it's backwards. This is here, and then down here is your effects that you can access, right? The vinyl sim, I believe, is effect 16, and then your DJ effects looper, so like they labeled them differently. So this is the DJ effects looper, which is what gives us those cool stuttering. So on the original 404, that is, damn it, on the SP-404SX, I say the original because like it's the one that I use. It's like original to me. So on the SP-404SX, this is here, and then this one got replaced to being able to switch the effects. The vinyl sim is the most used effects. That's the one that I use. It's number 16 on the other one. So it's cool to see it like different here, but it is different. So like on the other one, I think on this one, this is the type of gain, because like, check it out. But yeah, so it's like a type of gain. On the other one, it's like a noise. I believe it's like a noise in a ring. So like they both kind of produce noise. I think this one has more like a filtered sound. But I do like the flutter. The flutter is definitely nice. Check it out. It definitely is a lot of flutter. So that is the main difference, guys, really. The vinyl sim is the only reason you would want to get an SP-404 instead of the SX, because since it does have an older memory card, cutting samples and like copying and pasting samples and doing all the stuff that requires, you know, that you need to do on the SP-404, it's a lot faster to do it on the SX because it has a smaller card and that card just moves faster. You can obviously copy and paste and do, you know, like chop samples here, but don't quote me on this because I haven't tried it yet, but I heard that because of the bigger card, that it's slower. And it would make sense, you know, like why else would they upgrade it? So I'm probably going to use this. So like I have two ways of using my SP-404. I chop samples on it, which is a lot of fun. Like I'll plug up my piano into it, or maybe even just load up some samples or plug up my phone into it and, you know, record a sample in one, copy and paste, and then chop it up and then play drums live. That's one way of using the SP-404. But another way that is like the more popular way is to use it for effects processing, which is having a machine or whatever, you know, any type of audio source going into the audio. So like right now we have audio out going into the audio in, and then we have our external source turned on. If this isn't on, we can't hear anything. So that's like the more popular way of using the SP-404. And a lot of people make their tracks even like in DAW or, you know, anywhere else. Like you can make a track anywhere on your iPad, whatever, load it up on the SP-404 and it gives a complete new life. What I like to do is like make tracks on my OP1 or on my montage and then chop them up here and then, you know, mess with the chops differently, which would give me results that would be different if I just like loaded a track and messed with the effects. So there's a lot of ways that you can use the SP-404. The more you do it, the better you get at it. I'm going to show you guys how to use the DJ effects. It's called MFX here, but I'm going to show you how to use the DJ effects like a total boss to be able to get that dope. Yeah, that's mastering. That's mastering right there. When you first get your SP-404, you're probably doing this. Oh God, what did I do? Oh no, right? But once you get used to it, you know what you do. You know, like you know how to get back. Like you can go to chaos with the SP-404 and then you return to like where you want it to return. So that is mastering the MFX. So the first thing that you want to do after you turn on your SP-404, take note people, this is very important information right here. When you turn on your SP-404, you go to MFX, and this knob, this third knob, it needs to be all the way to the right. Okay? Later on, once you get better at it, you can experiment like moving it, you know, all the way to the left, all the way to the right. But when you're first starting, just leave it all the way to the right. And now, every time, so like if I play, it's my normal beat, nothing is happening, right? This second one controls the length, so like the time, how fast the stuttering is going to happen. And this right knob controls like if it's on or if it's off. On, off. So and then I'm gonna mess with the third knob to tell it how fast I want it to be, how slow I want it to be. So what I'm literally doing is just, first off, you have to be very good with timing, and also that takes practice. So, you know, if you're not getting it right away, don't be frustrated. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. So you just have to time it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you get what I'm saying? So like you have to time it in your head, because if not, if you don't time it right, it's just gonna sound like a bunch of nonsense. Another cool thing that you can do with the MFX, let me get a sip of the coffee. Another cool thing that you can do with the MFX is moving the knobs either, okay, so the third knob and the right knob together to the right at the same time or to the left. That's when you get this type of effect. Okay, I lied. It's not to the left. It's not. Okay, so it's to the right, so this way. You're either going to move them like this, or you're going to move this one left and this one right. So when you do that at the same time, that's when you get these dope things. Alright, so that was a little masterclass on the MFX. Let's answer some questions in the comments. How are you guys? By Trauma Mammal. Watching your work on the SP-404 makes it painfully clear how much more I have to learn about mine. Like I said, guys, it's a learning process. Life is a learning process. The more you do it, life is a repetition of motor movements. The more you do something, the better you get at it. I only use by True Mammal again. I only use my 404 for long speech samples. That's kind of one way of doing it. Like I said, a lot of people just load up samples in it and play it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's so much more that you can do with the SP-404. Beat Orphan, how the hell are you getting copyright clearance? So thank you for the compliment, but this is actually all my original work, bruh. This is me sampling that little fluttering you hear. That's actually me playing ukulele and speeding up the pitch and adding a bunch of delay to the sample itself. So thanks, but yeah, all my original work here. Sometimes I'll use like some very old samples on the 404, but most of the stuff that I do is all my original work, so shout out to myself. On the 606, you can combine two effects that sound similar to the 404 vinyl sim flutter. You use the sterilizer vinyl sim, I believe. I have to experiment. I haven't had the 606. I had the 555 for a while, and I didn't really like the way that the DJ effects sounded on it. And to be honest with you guys, I think I prefer how the DJ effects sound on the SX, and like I know I'm gonna get killed for that. Obviously, I do agree that the vinyl sounds different. I guess it does sound better. It's different. I have to get used to it. But I feel like the DJ effects, I'm gonna do a separate video with both of those two together. But definitely, it's definitely different, you know. I wonder like if they're using different components too. What do you think about by Anatoly Schumer? What do you think about the Electron model sample? I haven't tried the model sample, and I don't want to just say that it's bad because it's $300, because this is $300. Well, it's going up now. But like having an analog rhythm, it doesn't really make sense for me to buy samples. But I might try it, you know, if the opportunity comes, I'll try it. It's not like I'm not gonna try it and show you guys, but no, I have not messed with it. All right, let's see what other cool stuff we can get out of here. Alright, so I just wanted to bring this to your attention real quick because it is something different and it is something to know about the SP-404. So when I switch to the MFX, I don't know if it's to all of them, but every time I press, like let's say for example I'm on filter and I switch to the MFX, you get this short like blank, like empty space. So check it out. Did you hear that? Check it out. Like there's a short gap of time. I don't know if it's, I'm pretty sure it's not just this unit, hopefully not. I think, yeah, so that might have been something new that they fixed, because like when I'm on my original, well not original, when I'm on the SX, I can go like this with no problem. I feel like there's a little bit of noise on all of them, but it's way more noticeable when going into this one. So what you have to do in order to like avoid that, you have to turn it off. So like I'm here. So it's definitely gonna take some getting used to. So I guess that's kind of a luxury of the SP-404SX, that you're not gonna get that gap, that you can just switch between them like so without getting any gap. All right. It looks sick by Parkus141. It looks sick, but what can this do that a DAW can't? Oh God. First off, you can touch it. Like, it has knobs. You're not over here clicking with your mouse, all right? So this channel is not anti-DAW. I use my DAW sometimes. I've been using it less and less, just because I just use it as one stereo file. And I got a new mixer, the Zoom mixer, and you can record into it. I also use the resample method to record a lot of stuff. So yeah, this can definitely do a lot of stuff that a DAW can't. And I'm not saying, wait, actually, let me rephrase that. You can do a lot of stuff with a DAW that you can do here. You can probably replicate everything, but do you know how long it's gonna take? Do you know how much mouse clicking you're gonna have to do everything? Like, bruh. right, so someone in the comment section asked, let me read it because it was a little funny, but guys, come on. We're all learning here. Somebody said, why is the pitch of the lead so wobbly, changing like the battery is getting low? All right, so that is what the vinyl sim is, guys. It's kind of like, I don't want to say like a flanger because 3 is a flanger. Let's see what the flanger actually sounds like. So that was actually the flanger. I actually did 3 as chorus and 4 as flanger. So it's not a flanger effect, but that is what the vinyl sim is. Like, if you move it all the way to the right, it's gonna just get wobblier and wobblier, and that is like the reason for this. That was the whole reason to buy this. So yes, it was a little funny, but we're all learning, guys. Come on. All right. So then the MFX. So on the SP-404 SX, the MFX would normally be on 16, which is this vinyl sim. What they did is on the SX is that they made the DJ looper like a permanent addition, so you don't have to go over here and go all the way to 24 and do that. So like this is always effect 16. All right, let's answer some more questions in the comments. Does the rhythm sample as well, or are you just loading your own samples? Yes, the rhythm is a sampler. The MK2 is. The MK1 just loads samples. This one you can sample directly into it, and it's one of the biggest features. This is like a glorified, it's like a Digitact on steroids, I would say. I use it more like a Digitact than a drum machine, as you see that I use a lot of melodic samples on it. I really like using the scenes to mute and unmute tracks. I made a separate video about that. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Let's see some more questions. Somebody said I gotta check the batteries and make sure I swap out my samples because the batteries are getting low. All right. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I am answering them as I go. Terradome says, I want to get an Octatrack or Digitact. I would go for Digitact unless you're ready to, like, you know, commit marriage to the Octatrack. The Octatrack is really, really intense. It's a lot of fun once you learn how to use it, but you have to use it every day because if not, you're going to forget how to do, like, the most basic thing on it. Let's keep messing with this effects. Oh, and actually, you might have seen that crazy pitch thing that I did at the end. So, like, the pitch also sounds a lot better on this than on the OG, than on the SX. The pitch sounds a lot better on the OG than on the SX. And they changed it to like trans something, like they changed the name of it, so I'm sure they actually changed like the inside circuitry of what this effect is doing. So it's not the same effect. This third effect, if you see me like doing videos on the SP-404, you might notice that I avoid this button. I avoid this effect like there is no tomorrow. Like, I do not touch that effect ever, just because it sounds terrible. It has like this high feedback. Like, I don't like the way that it sounds. On this, it's an actual pitch shift, so. It's still not like the most pleasant sounding effect, but it is definitely better than the one on the SX. Besides that, guys, they're pretty much identical, I would say. I'm actually surprised about like how not noisy, like unnoisy this device is. I also am wearing like my Bose noise canceling headphones, and that does help. Like, believe it or not, like I have a mono machine and it's really noisy. But when I put my headphones on, it's not noisy at all. So maybe it is noisy and my headphones are just really good, but I'm not getting any noise, so that makes me happy. All right, let's do a few more stuff on here. Let's see what else. So like this is a set that I'm working on. I need to like actually record it, if not it's gonna get lost forever. But let's finish going through it, maybe mess with some more of the effects. That was a different song. All right, so the way that I work is that like I think these four ones were the exact same sample, which is pretty crazy if you think about it, because they sound like four different songs. So that sample and that sample are the exact same sample, except that I pitched it differently. Same thing there. I used 3 samples for all these 4 tracks, and they're all the same exact sample, but they made something completely different because the rhythm is amazing. And then here is when I was already starting to work on something else. It sounds better over here probably. I love letting that play out once again. All right, let's answer some questions. Thoughts on the SP-404A newest model? I have not tried it, but I've heard that it's exactly the same thing as the SX, except with like a new faceplate and some new colors. I think they're going for like what, $499? I would skip that price tag and try to get a used SX. There really is no difference. I don't know why didn't they, like, you know how they upgraded the memory card on this one to the smaller SD. I don't know why on the A they didn't use like a micro SD to, like, I don't know, maybe it would have made it go a lot faster. I don't know. But they pretty much didn't do absolutely anything to the A. And it's a huge complaint because they had so many opportunities. I don't know why they did that. I think what happened is they ran out of the faceplates of the SX. Who knows? No comment on that because I haven't tried it. But save some money, get the SX. The A is just a paint job. Can you record off the grid on the analog rhythm, or are you locked into the step sequencer? You can record unquantized if you want. It all at the end ends up sounding a bit more robotic than if like you're over here, you know, chopping samples. Oh wow, guys. Hold up, are you telling me this has a memory, like built-in memory? Because the SX does not have, what? Okay, so there is no memory card in here. I literally got this yesterday. There's no memory card. Oh, I see. Okay, all right. Okay, so the SX does not have any internal memory. Right here, A and B are internal, and these are the four. Oh, okay, well, that's exciting. Let's see what else this guy or gal had on here. Oh. Nothing that exciting, but that's dope to know. Okay, maybe I can like make an actual recorded sampling video on this since I don't need a memory card. That's exciting. I might do that next time. Let me know if you guys are enjoying these streams, these videos. Let me know what type of videos you guys want to see. All right, let's answer a few more questions. From Snowden. For a machine user who wants to also go full Dawless, what hardware do you think has similar playability and flexibility? All right, that is a very good question. Man, there's nothing out there. There's nothing out there like the machine. And I really love the machine, but I hate being tied to the computer. And the machine, I really use it in like a very specific way. Like I don't really use like the complete, you know, like the sounds. I don't really like mess with the MIDI. I just sample in it, chop my samples, and I'll play live, like actually chopping the sample as I'm going, playing the drums, duplicating my pads. That's like my machine sample. I mean, my machine workflow. But it doesn't really make sense to me to have it just for that. I really hope that they make a standalone version of the machine or something similar. I don't think they're gonna make a machine completely standalone, but maybe they will make a new device that is Dawless, hopefully. To me, the most comprehensive sampler or like in-depth sampler that you can get is probably this thing. If you can't afford this, get the Digitact. Again, it can be very electronic if you stay on the grid. Like if you're actually putting steps in, it can get a very like on the grid quantized type feel. But you can record live into it and leave it unquantized, and it can sound, you know, sloppy and hip hop-ish. Okay. Let's see what other questions you guys have. Can the analog rhythm do odd time signatures and very long loops? Like, what's the limit on length? By Sotovo. The analog rhythm, yes, of course it can do crazy time signatures. For these videos, I try to keep it very simple. Even like on my last video, I just narrowed it down to 1 bar just because, you know, just because we're working live and clearing and doing all these things to the pattern. Like, we're not really saving or building anything on here. But yes, you can do time signatures. Can you load long samples? No. The memory is quite limited. I believe it's 2 gigs per something. I don't know. But it's not, you can't play long samples like you can on the SP-404. If you're looking to play long samples, get an SP-404. That's the best advice that I can give you. Alright, Buscrate said, just know that the internal memory on your 404 may run a bit slower than if you use the slots that required a card to use. Alright, thanks for that tip, man. Thank you. Chances, MPC, bro, the MPC X is like in the closet behind some boxes. I know how, what a shame. What a shame. Oh man, I have so many thoughts on the new MPCs. The old NPCs, yes, they're dope, but those pads, like my little fingers can't handle hitting those pads. Those pads are a little too hard. The NPC X, there's just so, I'm gonna make a separate video. I need to, like, you know, get some things off my chest too. But there's just so many things that are wrong with it that they shouldn't be that way. Like, there's so many menus that don't coincide. Like, you have to use the touchscreen. I feel like on the NPC, they really focused on the software and they didn't really think about how it was going to work. Like, oh, it might work differently on the X. Oh, it's going to work differently on the One. Like, they just focus on making people use the touchscreen. So there's a bunch of buttons and a bunch of stuff that you have on the X and on the One that it's like, why can't I move up and down in this basic menu? Like, it's just frustrating. So that's my thoughts on the NPC. Back to this. If I could go back in time, I'd get the black box, but that's not saying the NPC is bad, a piece of gear. Yes, it is. The black box, I have not messed with the black box, but I have heard very good things about it. It definitely, like, gets my attention a little more than the Eurorack module version because I feel like it has a lot more buttons and cool stuff that you can do. I haven't had a chance to mess with the black box. I'm not sure if I will get it, like, not out of my pocket. I'm not paying for that. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I would rather spend that money in something that I actually want. Like a Tempest. All right. Let's see. Oh, I know. I hate being tied to the PC. Yep, you gotta get on that Dawless. How's the rhythms workflow compared to the Octatracks? Oh my god, are you kidding me? Night and day. I said it once and I'll say it again. If you know one Electron machine, you know them all except the Octatrack, okay? So the Octatrack is like, I don't hate the Octatrack. The Octatrack is amazing. I've made some really, really dope stuff on the Octatrack. But if I don't turn the Octatrack on for a week, and I turn it back on. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I can't get no sound out of it. Like, you have to set everything up. I feel like it's a lot of setting up. Once you set it up, I guess you can like make a template. But a lot of people use the Octatrack for effects, and like, why go through all that trouble of setting up all those menus when you can get one of these bad boys? And the effects on this sound so much better than the Octatrack. Hands down, the reverb on the Octatrack is meh. And bruh, like, there's just so much more that you can do. The vinyl sim, like, it's just so much more hands-on than like going through menus and setting up parts. Like, parts, the way that parts work on the Octatrack is a little, it's all confusing. I'm not even gonna say a little confusing, it's all confusing. But you know, if you're rocking the Octatrack, power to you. Power to you. Alright. If I want to start as a completely beginner in this, what are you doing at the moment? What would you recommend to get first? Okay, so this is actually a very good question, because like, the old me would have said, get some Volcas. Get some Volcas and a drum machine and this and that. But to be honest with you guys, I myself feel I work better when I'm just focused on one piece of gear, like a groove box. So like, there's a few options for groove boxes. The you know, you can get older ones, but I would recommend older ones. But now the older ones are becoming more expensive because people are buying them up. You know, like they're rare. They don't make them anymore. Like the Electribes, like the old Electribes. But like, you can get a circuit. You can get an Novation circuit. You can get an Electribe. If you have a little more money, maybe save up and get a Digitact or a Digitone if you're not into sampling. Like, the Digitone I recommend Electron a lot because it's a fun workflow. It's easy for beginners, but it can get like very experimental, and like, the more you use it, the better you get at it. Like, there's LFOs, like, there's so many things. So yeah, my recommendation for a complete beginner that's like not using a computer, get a groove box, and then get everything else after that, you know, like, because you can eventually use your groove box, let's say, just for drums or just for leads if you want to add something else later on. Because what happens is, if you end up like, let's say, okay, as a Volca or like a synth, you're gonna want more. You're gonna be like, okay, great, this Volca's cute, I made a sequence, what now? Like, you're gonna need something else. So like, if you're looking at it from a budget perspective, I would start off with a groove box. It also will help you like to learn one piece of gear very well. Somebody said, or download Koala Sampler. Koala Sampler is actually a great app. So like, a lot of people have been asking me to do iPad stuff. I have a lot of iPad apps. I have a few good ones. I might do a video on it. I just don't use it as much because I have all this hardware, so it makes no sense. Okay. Let's see. Is it happy accident prone like electrons can be? Is what is. Let's see. I guess, I don't know. Too many comments. Digitone is a box of wonders. I think the Digitact covers a lot of grounds. Yes, the Digitact's amazing. I use the rhythm as a Digitact, so it doesn't really make sense for me to have both. Maybe I will later on. I've had a Digitact. I've had a few, actually. But I really like these 16 steps. I don't really like how it's like 8 and 8 and like you're like this, you know? Like, I like to be able to see it all laid out like this. And I really like the scenes and being able to... I haven't even messed with the performs for this project yet. I need to set those up. We might do that next time. Hardware sequencers. Which one, if any, would you recommend? The KeyStep Pro is actually a very good sequencer if you're into keys. So that's the thing that you also have to think about. Like, where does your strength lies? Are you mainly a keyboardist that wants to make beats and, you know, wants to like actually turn your keyboard jams into like actual songs? Or are you like a producer, a beat maker, you know, like, figure out what your strength is. Like, my strength, I mean, I like to believe that my strength is keys, even though I'm not nearly as good as a lot of other people. But figure out what that is and then go from there. The KeyStep Pro is definitely a good sequencer for the price too. It's like, what, $3.99? And there's a lot of cool stuff. I'm gonna do a video on the KeyStep Pro later on. I have a very dope thing coming. That's vintage. Now it's vintage. I'm not going to tell y'all what it is. Yeah, I'll leave it as a surprise. But I'm going to probably do the video with the KeyStep Pro with that because that's going to be dope. It's multi-timbral, I'll give y'all that. Hi, Mike Donagi. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining. Let's see. All right, let's mess some more with this. I wish that you guys could see my face, but I'm working on it. I'm working on getting this so we can, you know. All right. I don't really. Okay, here's some comment by Yen. I don't really understand why the key step is so hype. I don't really think that it's that good of a sequencer. I hope the Keystep Pro is more like the Beatstep Pro because I like that one a lot. Yeah, bro, that's why it's the Pro. So like the Keystep is very simple. The Keystep is just actually, I'll tell you why the Keystep is hype. The Keystep is hype because it's the first sequencer that can sequence modular. Like it has CV and gate at the back of that sequencer in that small size. That's why it's so hype. The Keystep Pro, it's 4 of those plus like scenes and like you can build songs. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. Yeah. Another let's see, what other sequencers can I recommend? Actually, the Digitact is also a great sequencer. If you plug a keyboard to it, then you can play stuff with it. And I think actually one of my favorite sequencers that I don't have anymore is the Pyramid. I think the Pyramid is a great sequencer if you're looking just for that. All right. Yeah, let's do it. Let's keep going. So you guys might have just noticed that like I'm moving things and nothing is happening. I think it like resets. That happens sometimes with the SX. When that happens, don't worry. Especially if that's happening live, that can be a little scary. But worry not. What you can do is you can time it properly enough where you can turn off, like use the external source to like mute and unmute. And that's actually a pretty cool thing to do. So like check it out. So yeah, so if that happens to you, especially if you're pressing other pads, because that's what happened. That's why it turned off, because I pressed another pad. So like if you're on a pad and you're doing the effects, it's doing the effects on that pad. You can turn the effects on all the pads, but I think that has more to do with using the pattern sequencer. That's not something I really do. I've done it like once or twice, but it always seems like so much more of a hassle and way more on the grid than just chopping samples on the SP-404 by itself. So I thought I had more on here, but I guess not. Time to go work on my set. I've been having a lot of fun making these streams. I guess I haven't been making that much music lately, but well, I want to say lately, like in the last week or so, because you know you gotta go hard. But yeah, let me see. I have a question. Hey Jade, could you set up when you stream to have multiple options for stream quality? Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I don't know none of that, but we'll get to it. At 720, Twitch app struggles to play and keep cutting. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. As you see, like, I'm learning and I'm getting better at the whole technical difficulties. At least our mic is working, right? Yeah, at least the mic is working properly. All right. Let's answer a few more questions. I guess that's all I had to show for this small set. That's like, what, 2-3 songs? And let's see. I believe, what did I play first? Was it this? Okay, and actually that was a sample. Earlier I said that wasn't a sample, so I lied. I'm sorry. This is a sample. So what I do is I'll just like pitch it differently and change it enough to where it's completely unrecognizable. Just use very old songs. No, you know, just keep it between us though. And yeah, then that is a second sample. So these two are the same sample, and if you noticed my attention, I'm like trying not to talk as I'm making the beat so it doesn't, you know, mess up the beat. I held the cue, so like the rhythm is just so amazing. I need to make more videos on the rhythm, like especially about the sampling and using samples on the rhythm. So this is the original sample without the fill. So like what the fill does, you can set the fill to trigger certain steps. So like while it's playing, it's not triggering those steps, but when I have it held or when I cue it, it's gonna play that. So this is the original sample. I'm gonna play it without the drum so it's clear. So I said that was the original sample. That is obviously not the original sample. The sample is pitched and like started. Like for example, you can set different steps. I'm not gonna mess with it because I don't want to mess with how this is set up because this is actually a song I'm working on. But basically, I have, like for example, I'll have a step here and then I'll re-trigger the sample here. I'll pitch the sample down here and start it later. Like I've done so many things to the sample that it makes it a completely different song, right? So what I meant by original sample was how I originally have it set up. And then on top of that, if we add the drums, you're going to see how dope it sounds. So here's the sample with some mangling, and then here's the sample with some more mangling with the fill. So pay attention. And the rest, like those rain sounds and stuff, that was not part of the sample, but you heard the original sample play out. Do you guys want me to keep going? It's been like an hour, but it seems like, you know, I've got some time. Why not? Maybe we can, let's see. Maybe we can do some more with this sample. Maybe we can, let me see. I'm gonna copy the sample, or the whole page, the whole pattern, I mean. We'll do something over here. We're gonna paste that. So we have the same exact pattern, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna find our sample. Okay. We're gonna clear these steps. Okay, so now we just have one step. I'm gonna mute some stuff. Alright, so we got the sample, but what if we started somewhere else? Sadly, it's not like the whole song. I recorded this, or maybe it is. I might be lying. Let's see. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind is that if I start messing with this sample, like let's say for example, if I mess with the start time, that's gonna mess with all the samples that are using, all the kits that are using that. So like if I mess with this sample and start messing with the tuning and stuff like that, it's gonna mess with my original sample. So what I need to do is I need to use conditional trigs, I'm sorry, parameter locks. Same thing? No. Parameter locks is when you press the button and you hold the knob. Conditional trigs is when you have a trig set to certain conditions like the fill or a percentage or a ratio. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna hold this. I like that. We're gonna copy that step. I'm gonna put it here. And I'm gonna change this one actually. Dope. Okay, we're gonna do that again. And for the sake of time, we're going to make this 2 bars. But on our second bar, we're gonna change the last 2 samples, or start time. right, that turned out pretty cool. Let's do another one actually. Why not? We can use that sample a lot more. So like what I'll probably end up doing is moving this over here, you know, so like it makes sense, right? Because I believe what follows is this. That's something completely different. I'm not gonna do it now because I don't want to mess anything up and then end up pasting something where I'm not supposed to and then it's gone forever. So I'm just gonna keep doing it here. So let's do that. We're going to go to this pattern. We're gonna copy that. This turned into a, I guess it was a SP-404 and rhythm video. It wasn't just the 404 video. All right, so we are going to go to pattern 9. I'm going to paste that there. And we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to go to here, and we're going to delete these steps. So I can just go like this, function, clear. Clear track. Since this is lit, it means clear track. If I did clear, well then it's not lit, it's going to clear my pattern. I don't want to do that. So that's what we have. That's the rain sounds and the drums. That's all we got. Let's do. Same thing. Let's find a cool spot in the sample. Maybe something with some vocals in it. Let's see. Copy, paste. Maybe not there, maybe here. Maybe on that 5th. And something on 13. I like that. Something else here. And then another dope thing that we can do is we can actually set something to a conditional trig, or if we want a little more control over it, we can set it to the fill like I did on those other tracks. So I think I'm going to do that with a last step over here, maybe on 11. Let's see. So the way that conditional trigs work is that it's only going to play it if I'm holding the fill, right? If I set it to fill. So like this is where we set our conditional trigs. I can set it to fill. I just hold the step. That first one is fill, which means it's only going to play when I'm holding the fill or when the fill gets cued. Negative means that it's going to play every time there isn't a fill. So like if it has a line on top of it, that's what that means. So it's going to play all the time except when it has a fill. We don't want that. I'll talk about neighboring tracks and all that stuff in another video. This is the percentage. Again, goes all the way up to 8/8 and the ratio. But we're going to do it for fill so we have a little more control over it. And then we can also add some more fills. So let's do something over here in the beginning because it's very dope. You're about to see. Maybe I'll add something on this. Let's see. Maybe over here. see, that's pretty crazy. I just messed with the tuning. I turned it up 12 semitones. Okay, I feel like that would sound really dope somewhere else. So I'm gonna save that trig. And I'm actually gonna paste it over here. Hopefully that won't delete once we paste the pattern again. It might. But that trig sounds dope, just not here. So let's see what else we can do. Okay, that's gonna sound really dope on a whole different pattern. Maybe we'll do that. Yeah, that just doesn't fit there. So guys, this is just a trial and error. You need to know this too when you're practicing and stuff, you know? Yeah, okay, so you make something and then it doesn't turn out good. Just keep trying, keep messing with it. Sometimes a track is like not gonna sound good, no matter how hard you try. Like, I mean, it can, but I'm saying like if a track is not sounding good, no matter what you do, you know, I'm not saying give up on it, but know when, you know, a sample is working and it's not. Like, for example, I could have kept that 8 in there and we would have messed up the whole sample. Like, it would have started sounding like garbage. So know when to add and know when to remove, you know? Like, don't just set steps everywhere and hope that it sounds good. Alright, so we're going to copy this pattern again, paste it on 10. And now for this sample, we're gonna mess with the pitches of the sample. So and then maybe we can do a -12 over here. Let's see how that sounds. If it sounds too crazy, we'll just do that on the next pattern. I think we will save this for the next pattern. Let's see. -12, 37. Let's remember that. Because what we're going to do is we're going to copy, paste, I guess we don't have to remember it because all we have to do is remove these first ones. Okay, that sounds dope. We're gonna copy that. We're gonna paste it on our first step. We're just gonna do it once because I like how that played out. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go back. That's our new pattern. We're gonna go here and we're gonna get rid of that last step. So we got, and I'm gonna do something else here. Let's see. Not that. Let's do... Oh, right, that turned out pretty dope. Again, the ending of that sample, same sample, guys. That was the female vocal that came with the song. Let me answer a few more questions before signing off. Signing off. By Sundalo916. Jade is definitely upselling the rhythm. I got gas like a mofo. The rhythm. Oh man, the rhythm has a special place in my heart. This is not the first time I've had the rhythm. I've had the rhythm a few times. I know, what a shame. But every time that I had it, it was like I was very into electrons. So like I had the rhythm, I had the octatrack, I had digitac. Like I never really appreciated the beauty of the rhythm on its own, because when you're using the thing that ends up happening when you have a lot of electron stuff, or when you get one electron box, you get the electron gas, dark side of gas. Which means that you want everything electron, right? Because it's so dope. But what ends up happening is that if you would have just invested that time in that one box, you can do a lot of cool stuff. Like for example, the analog 4, you can make drums and stuff on the analog 4. Like you don't need both. My suggestion is get one thing, learn it very well, and later on add some other stuff. That's just my unsolicited advice to you. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, follow, give it a thumbs up. If you guys enjoy these streams, let me know, leave some comments below. If you guys have any ideas for future streams that you would like to see, let me know also. If you like what I do, consider checking out Patreon. That's how I'm trying to make a living. So if you can, support on Patreon. You get some cool stuff, get some of my sample packs and stuff. Someone did ask, let's see some more questions. Do they read the chat? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Just after. So I'll jam, I'll read the chat, and I'll jam some more, but this is the end of it. Jade, where do you get your samples, or do you make them on your own? So like for like my, not everything, but like some of my songs, I'll use like old samples and stuff like that I find on YouTube, like really old samples, or crate digging or whatever. But I normally make my samples. I normally play piano and make my tracks on the montage. I play ukulele, guitar and stuff, so like I make a lot of my own samples. So never let that stop you. When you're in the flow, you don't want to stop. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.